Hey y'all, how's it going? So for those of you who don't know, I recently got laser eye surgery. So this video is going to be how much was it, where did I go, my experience, all that. Okay, so first question, where did you go? I went to some people called Seoul Eye Group. And they're based in Gangnam. They're right outside of exit 12, I believe. Really, really easy to find. The reason I went there is for 3 reasons basically. 1, I knew people who went there already, which is remarkably comforting. I also searched their name and I heard a lot of good things about them. They're very professional. So you go in, it looks very, very nice, very clean. If something happens and you somehow need another surgery after your surgery because your eyesight's still not perfect, they'll cover that for you usually. In general, they're just very, very professional, and I felt very safe and secure when I was talking to my doctors, when I was getting all my eye checks. They're very thorough. And 3 would be they speak English, which is remarkably important to me, mostly because these are my eyes and I'm not gonna get a second chance on this. So the receptionists, their English is pretty good, but more importantly, these are the 2 important things. Your doctor should probably speak English unless you want to bring a Korean friend with you to translate, but personally, things get lost in translation, so I wanted a doctor who could speak to me and answer my questions one-to-one. And the lady giving you your drops, she's gonna be the one telling you how to take care of yourself after the surgery, which is almost more important than the surgery itself. If you don't listen to her, if you don't take your drops at the right time, if you don't heed her advice, you could actually screw up your eyes again while they're healing, and that would require a second surgery or more. So I really wanted to be able to understand all the directions she gave me and the doctor. That's why I picked Seoul Eye Group, simple as that. Actually, there's a 4th one, I lied. Price. It was 800,000 won for both eyes, all laser Lasik, which is really, really cheap compared to the States. Like, really cheap compared to the States. So of course I wanted to do that here as opposed to there, where I still got another 6 months at least in Korea so I can do all my checkups and stuff while I'm here. Second thing, LASIK versus Lassek. I got Lassek. So let's do a crash course real quick. What's the difference between the 2? Lasik is the one that most people do. That's the short, cute, fun one. Okay, that's where they basically create a window on your eye, open it up, laser the crap out of your eye, close the window, seals around the edges, you're done. Like, you can drive within 48 hours, it's not that painful, lots of fun, you know, googly goo. But, issue with that is, and this is the reason why I did not choose Lasik, is you're always gonna have weakened eyes because the flap never heals completely, it only heals around the edges. So that means that if you get punched in the face, and y'all know how much I love bar fights, it could ruin your eyes. Because it could open up the flap, and you would need reconstructive surgery in your eyes, and it's just not worth the hassle, not to mention that I'm a little paranoid, because you never know, you know, maybe somebody just doesn't like my face and wants to ram me with their car, causing the airbag to pop out and hit me in the face and dislodge my eye. You know, let's just not think about it too much. But most people do that one because it's easier and faster healing. I didn't do that one, however. I did Lassek. That's with an E. Most people choose Lassek after they're told they can't get Lasik because their corneas are too thin. My corneas were just fine. I'm just a cautious person. I have a 401k savings account. Lassek, basically they dissolve the outer part of your eye, like the outermost part of your eye, laser the crap out of your eye, put a contact in, leave that in for 5 to 6 days, have that taken out, and your eye slowly grows back. That's why it's painful, that's why it takes a long time for it to heal, but it heals all the way. So personally for me, it wasn't really a choice. I had to go with the one that would give me completely healed eyes. So even though it's 3.5 weeks after my surgery right now, my eyes are still kind of adjusting. I feel a little bit of a strain, especially when I stare at computer screens for too long. I've also gone out all night into clubs and bars, and the smoke is not that comfortable, whereas before it didn't really bother me that much. So I would suggest just bring your eye drops, you should be fine. But yeah, so I'm still healing. It should take about a month to 3 months for my eyes to heal completely, up to a year for like all the later symptoms like, you know, night halos or eye dryness and things like that. It could take a year or even more for that to fully heal. My personal experience. So basically, I went to see them 3 times. First time was just to chat and see what kind of surgery I should have. Second time was for all my tests. They do a lot of tests, which I found very, very comforting. They've got a bunch of different machines, you know, the one that blows smoke in your eye. Whew. This is not a Robin Thicke music video. The one that blows air in your eye. They've got the chart on the wall. Then you go see your actual doctor. He's got his majigger jigger and he does whatever he does with your eyes. Then he explains the surgery in full, exactly what's going to happen, which is nice because when you're going through the actual surgery, it's good that there are no surprises. So finally I made my appointment. I made it for the Wednesday of Chuseok, so I had 5 days to heal. You're gonna need a long time to heal with Lassek because it dissolves the entire outer part of your eye. So I go in on Wednesday, start having my drops. They go and put me upstairs into the room. They give me my hairnet and all that jazz. And he gives me these drops that take 15 minutes to take hold, so you have to keep your eyes closed for 15 minutes. So I use this time personally to try and meditate, relax. I do yoga, so I try to like slow my heart rate and breathe. I was almost asleep by the time that the surgery actually came along. So I go in, they lay me down, put this adhesive mat on my face that has holes for the eyes, cover up one of my eyes, but he told me to keep both of my eyes open the entire time because it's hard to actually keep one eye fully open and then the other one closed. Try it, it's weird. So I had 3 jobs in this surgery. He's doing his lasering thing with eye tracking system, which is nice. So if I do somehow like freak out, it's not gonna laser off like the wrong part of my eye. The machine would automatically stop, so that was comforting. But basically I've got 3 jobs. First job, stare at the green dot. Second job, do not tilt your head forward because apparently a lot of people freak out when the laser starts and they want to tuck their head into their chest. I don't know, laser eye surgery turns people into turtles or something. So don't do that. And then the third thing is people have a tendency to try and close their eyes, but you've got a majigger that's holding your eye completely open. So obviously if you try to close your eyes, nothing happens. It just rolls them into the back of your head, which is, you know, some exorcism level stuff, I'm sure, for the doctor. It freaks him out. And it doesn't help you because they have to stop the surgery, fix it, and all that stuff. So don't do it. So basically, here's what happened. He put some cold water on my eye that I couldn't really feel that much. I could feel it, but it didn't hurt because I was already numb by this point in both of my eyes. Didn't feel the need to blink, so that wasn't an issue for me personally. I was very relaxed on the table, tried to like, you know, palms up, doing my yoga thing basically, which was nice that I managed to not get nervous at all during the surgery, which is kind of cool. So he uses basically like a surgical Q-tip. I mean, it wasn't a Q-tip, but that's what I equate it as, to dry off all the excess moisture and water in my eye. And then he's like, okay, time for the laser. You're gonna hear a clicking noise, stare at the green dot. So I hear the clicking noise, I start to smell a little bit of burning, which I was afraid that I knew this was gonna happen, but I was afraid it was gonna smell like burnt chicken, because basically that's the laser burning your eye. But actually it didn't. It smells more like when you're in the dentist chair and they're drilling your teeth and you smell that weird chemical-y smell. It's like that. So it's actually really not that scary. And you can't feel, I didn't even feel any pressure at all. It was literally just stare at the dot. So the green, tiny little green dot, staring at the green dot, it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, blurrier and blurrier and blurrier. And then when it was like in the full range of my vision, they were done. Well, they rinsed out my eyes, popped in the contacts, and that was it. Covered that eye, open the other. By this point, like that was really fast. It took about 30 seconds of total lasering, maybe a minute and a half for the actual, all the eye part. Super, super fast. So by the time he was at my left eye, I was totally chill. Like I almost thought of it as a game, like to try and stare at the dot and like not put your head down or anything. I was getting really, I thought it was kind of fun actually. Maybe I'm just a masochist. So when I stood up, I was like, holy cow, this is cool. And I literally looked at my doctor and I was like, that was really cool. And he did some more checks to make sure that everything went fine with the surgery. He complimented me on not freaking out. And that was it, I could go. I do suggest for those of you, this is what I did. After the surgery, you're gonna be super light sensitive. You're going to feel some pain. So while I could stare at everything like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed for about 30 minutes, that's when the anesthesia wore off and then it got real and it started to hurt. Not fun. So if I had been on the subway, I live about 45 minutes away from Gangnam, that would have been not cool to start having that amount of pain and light sensitivity on the middle of the subway. So I did have a friend come with his car and bring me home. So, you know, got me home, helped me into my room, dropped me off, had all my drops and stuff ahead of time that I got before the surgery, so I knew how to use them. First day, take your drops every 10 minutes. So I literally set a timer, let it go off, and then just hit snooze. And every 10 minutes I was using my drops like that. You really need to be careful and listen to the instructions on how you should take your drops. I had an antihistamine, an anti-inflammatory, and then re-wetting drops. And over the course of your healing process, you're gonna have to go back to your doctor for checkups and he'll change your prescription. So make sure that you like go for the checkups too. So after 1 week, I went in, I still had the contacts in from after the surgery, they put the contacts in. So he warned me, he was like, this might hurt. And I was like, oh great. But he goes in and he pops out the contacts. Didn't hurt at all actually, although afterwards my eyes were a little raw, which I would say is kind of a universal theme on the whole thing. Like the pain of the surgery the first day, my eyes felt super raw, very sore. I basically lived in my goggles and head thingy, in my goggles and headband, which, side note, these are what I am doomed to wear every single night for a month, which means I'm still wearing these every night, which is so sexy. But it's to keep you from rubbing your eyes when you sleep. And then also, I would suggest to you, you can use something like this or like this to block out the lights, which wasn't a problem after maybe about the 5th day. I didn't really need that anymore. Then I just switched to sunglasses. But this especially was a lifesaver for those first few days when all I did was sleep, listen to audiobooks, hula hoop, dance around my room blind. Like, you didn't want to open your eyes. So please plan ahead and have some kind of activity for you to do while you're recovering, because you're not going to want to like Reddit or use the computer at all, I promise. Like, there's not going to be much Netflix going on. It's been 3.5 weeks since the surgery. Officially 2 weeks after the surgery, I was 20/20. But even before that, I would say about 6 or 7 days after my surgery, my eyesight was already pretty solid, which is so cool, you guys. It's so funny because when I first started asking all my friends, like, hey, where did you go for your laser eye surgery? What was your experience? And I actually did have a few friends who got Lassek. Most of my friends got Lasik because it's more common, but I did have a few friends who said Lassek, and they warned me, they're like, it hurts, but it's worth it. Everybody said like, oh, it's worth it, you should do it. And it's interesting because before I came to Korea, I never thought that I would get laser eye surgery. It just wasn't really something on my radar. And I guess that's a way that Korea's kind of influenced me, because here it's so normal and so natural that I didn't actually really think that hard about it. Like, I definitely did my research, and I strongly suggest you do too, especially for the surgery itself. Like, I watched videos of Lasik surgeries so that I wouldn't freak out. But actually choosing to get the surgery was a lot more natural here than if I had been considering it in the States. I probably wouldn't have done it. But here it's like reasonable and affordable, and the people are so professional at the Seoul Eye Group. They're like so nice, so professional, so cool. It wasn't really a choice, like I had to do it. So instead of spending the rest of my life with contacts and glasses and all that jazz, which y'all know how much I love circle lenses, but like I was so done. I was so ready to be done with all of that. And maybe in the future when I'm about 50 or so, will probably still have the same degenerative thing going on as most people, so I'll have to use reading glasses and things like that. But until I'm like 50, y'all, I'm never gonna need contacts or glasses at all. And that is, it's still actually, I'm still in the process of absorbing that thought. Like every once in a while my eyes will feel really dry and I'm like, oh, I should take out my contacts. Wait a second, I'm not wearing contacts. And it like hits me. That or the fact that my eyesight's not blurry anymore. So when I wore my contacts or my glasses at some point in my day, I always had blurry vision, you know, even if it's the first 5 seconds before you put on your glasses in the morning. And I'm still kind of getting used to the thought that there's no blurriness to my eyesight anymore, which is really, really cool. So that's it. Honestly, all I can do is rave and say that I'm so happy that I did this. I'm still healing and I'm so happy that I did this. The surgery was really fast, really cool. The people at the Seoul Eye Group were really professional. They did a great job, and I'm still doing checkups with them, which is nice to go and see them fairly often to make sure my healing is going well. But looks like everything went well. Thanks for all your well wishes, you guys. I really, really appreciate it, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.